Here, I'm going to just start this one topic in a details, that is chemical coordination and integration mind map, my dear. So in previous mind map, I was told you that about some glands. The name of the gland is that is hypothalamus gland, pituitary gland, pineal gland, thyroid gland, parathyroid gland. Am I right? Okay. So now in this video, I'm going to start the next gland. The name of the gland is that is the thymus gland. Then after the adrenal gland, yes, the adrenal gland which is located at the top of kidney. Yes, my dear. And then after we start the heterogland, you know the heterogland, that is what pancreas. And then after we also uh, know about that very gland that is also heterogland. Yes, definitely, that is also heterogland. And that very heterogland is known as what, my dear? Testes and ovary. Okay. So are you ready to start? Let's start and know about each and everything, what the main function of these all very glands, my dear. Okay. So now see, whenever I'm saying about the other one gland, that is what? Thymus gland. You know the thymus? Thymus is such a gland which release a hormone known as what? Thymosin hormone. Getting my point? Now check with the NCERT, because in previous I was told you about the hormones. What is hormones? You know? Yes. Before we have to be start that one thymus gland, just I recall all that things that whatever I told in previous class. The hormone is not, you know, the hormone is what? Chemical messenger which act on a target organ, my dear. Is that clear? So if anybody can ask you about the hormone, then what you say? Hormone is nothing, just it is only what? Chemical messengers, my dear. Whatever the chemical coordinations occur within the body as well as the integration will take place, that all very integration and coordinations will occur with the help of the hormone, my dear. And you all know that the hormone is released from the glands. And you know that the glands of two types, that is endocrine gland and exocrine gland, my dear. Endocrine gland is a ductless gland while exocrine gland is a duct gland, my dear. Hope so this thing is very clear to all of you. Now, if anybody can ask you about other one gland also, yes, that is a hetero gland, that is pancreas, testes and ovaries, right? And after knowing these all things, my dear, I'm going to start the thing that is what? Thymus gland. So see what here I'm going to start. I'm going to write this one thing also. Let's see from here. That is what? Thymus gland, my dear. Okay, thymus gland. Now check this one gland from NCERT, my dear. I'm going to check this one thing from NCERT so that the concept will clear here. Okay, see, parathyroid gland I was also told in previous class, but here the thymus gland is, my dear, is important to understand. Okay, see what the thymus gland, my dear. Thymus gland is a lobular structure. What I'm saying, lobular structure I am saying, my dear. See this one thing. Wait for a moment. If anybody can ask you about the thymus gland, then what you say? The thymus gland is lobular structure. You know the meaning of lobular structure? They are found in lobules, my dear. Yes, located between the lungs behind the sternum. See what I'm saying? See with the help of diagram also. See this one, the diagram of here. Check this one diagram. I'm going to show you the gland. See here. This one is what? Thymus gland. See, this one is what? This one is what? Thymus gland, my dear. See here, thymus gland. This thymus gland is located where? Yes, just in between the pair of lungs. Yes or no? See here, just between the pair of lungs, my dear. So that's why I'm telling you about this one gland. That is what? That is what, my dear? Let's see. Let's see. This thymus gland is lobular structure located between the lungs behind the sternum. Behind the what? The sternum on the ventral side of aorta. Yes, you know the aorta? Yes, aorta I'm asking. Aorta, that vessels which carry oxygenated blood from where? You know, from the right ventricles, right, that is left, right, not left ventricles to the body, my dear. Yes, left ventricles, not right, because left hand side to be right and right hand side to be what? Left. In this way the chamber, huh? When you make the chamber of the heart, when you make the chamber of the heart, let's see, let's say I show you here. When you make the chamber of this one heart, my dear, so see, this one is the thing now. Here the valve, the name of the valve is what? Septum. And see, this one is the what? Tricuspid valve. This one is what? Bicuspid valve. Here is what? Here is what? Right auricle and right ventricle. Here is what? Left auricle and left ventricle, my dear. So the blood which carry from left ventricles to the where? To the body. To the what, my dear? Body. This one is what? Aorta. This one is what? Aorta. This one is what? Body, na? Yes. So see what I'm saying here. I'm saying here that the thymus gland is a lobular structure. Yes, where it is located between the lungs, behind the sternum. The sternum is the bone on the ventral side of aorta, my dear. What I'm saying? On the ventral side of aorta. So the thymus plays a major role. What I'm saying? Thymus plays what? A major role in the development of immune system, my dear. What I'm saying? Development of immune system. That immune system which is responsible to what, my dear? To fight from the pathogens. Isn't it or not? Whenever the pathogen invade within the body, they have the what tendency to fight with them, my dear. Okay, getting my point? So thymus gland is lobular structure located between the lungs, behind the sternum on the ventral side of aorta. This one thing, and the thymus plays a major role in the development of what? Immune system, my dear. Right? Now, this gland secretes the peptide hormone. What I'm saying? Which type of hormone is secreted from this one gland? The gland secretes peptide hormone. That very peptide hormone known as thymosin. What I'm saying, dear? Thymosin. So thymosin is the hormone which is secreted from this one gland, my dear, known as what? Yes, very good. That is the what? Thymosin. And this thymosin is the what? Peptide hormone, my dear. Okay, so if anybody can ask you what the peptide hormone, then you say here thymosin. Thymosin, what the role of the thymosin? If anybody can ask you, then what do you say? Thymosin play a major role in the differentiation. What I'm saying? Differentiation. Differentiation means what? Breakdown. What I'm saying? Differentiation. What the meaning of differentiation? That is breakdown of which one? T lymphocytes. And you all know that lymphocytes of two types: B lymphocytes and T lymphocytes. So here the major role of thymosin in differentiation of T lymphocytes, which provide cell mediated immunity. See what I'm saying here? The immune system is to be developed. Yes. Which one? The thymus gland. What? This one is the major role of the development of immune system. The gland secretes a peptide hormone, that is thymosin, and its major role in differentiation of T lymphocytes. And this T lymphocytes, that is cell mediated immunity, my dear. In addition, thymosin also plays a very important role, my dear, that is promote production of what? Antibodies. You know antibodies? Yes, antibodies and antigen, that is also protein which is present on the surface of the RBC, that is called antigen. And antigen binding site of the antibodies. Yes or no? That is paratops. Antibodies binding site of antibodies, epitopes. So here see, thymosin promote production of antibodies, my dear, to provide humoral immunity. What I'm saying? Humoral immunity. So if anybody can ask you that what the cell mediated immunity and humoral immunity, then what you say? Then what you say? You say that this one is the immunity which is responsible for what? Make the body, make the body so strong that can fight from pathogens, my dear. So thymus is degenerated in old individual. As we grow, the thymus become degenerates and resulting in a decreased production of thymus. Getting my point? As a result, the immune response of old person become weak, my dear. This one is the this one is the thing. If anybody can ask you what the reason for the what the reason for the old person become weak, the main The main the main hair role, that is thymus gland, which secretes a hormone thymosin, is responsible here, my dear. Getting my point? So thymus is degenerated in old individuals, resulting in decreased production of thymosin. As a result, the immune response of old person become what? Weak, my dear. Getting my point? Getting my point? Very good. So if you get this one point, my dear, now come here to the next gland. The name of this one gland is what, my dear? Adrenal gland. What I'm saying? Adrenal gland, my dear. Okay, let's see. Let's see this one, adrenal gland. See, this one is the what? Adrenal gland. Okay, see what in this gland, my dear. See, in adrenal gland, what we see here, it is found where? At the top of the kidney, like cap shape like a structure. What this shape like a structure? Yes, cap shape like a structure. Just a moment. Hmm. Adrenal gland. So our body has one pair of adrenal gland. One pair because kidney has two. So that's why on the top of the kidney there is a cap shape like a structure known as what? Adrenal gland. What the gland? Adrenal gland. Very good. So one at the anterior part, that is the front part. Anterior, if anybody can ask you, the anterior part, that is the front region part. If I'm saying the posterior part, that is the back region part. Getting my point? So the anterior part of each kidney, my dear, okay, each kidney. So the gland is composed of two types of tissue. What I'm saying, two type of tissue. The centrally located tissue is called adrenal medulla. Yes, two type of tissue. The name of the tissue is what? Centrally located tissue, known as what? Adrenal medulla. And what I'm saying, outside this lies to adrenal cortex, my dear. See this one diagram. This one is the outer region. See here, this one is the what? Where I'm going to mark this one yellow with green. See this one. See this one. All are what? Yes, adrenal cortex region. Getting my point? And inner centrally located tissue. See this one, centrally located tissue. This one is known as what, my dear? Adrenal what? Medulla. Getting my point? See, adrenal cortex is the outer region, while the adrenal medulla is what? Lies outside. The gland composed of two type tissue. The centrally located tissue is adrenal medulla, and outside adrenal cortex. Now see what the thing is here. Underproduction. You know the meaning of underproduction? Less amount of production of which one thing? That is hormone. From where? Adrenal cortex. That is outside layer of adrenal gland. Alters carbohydrate metabolisms, my dear, cause acute weakness and fatigue, leading to a disease known as Addison disease. I am going to repeat here. Listen carefully. Underproduction of which one hormone? And it means that the less production of hormone, that is what? Adrenal cortex. And whatever the cortisone hormone, that a cortisone hormone is produced from where? Adrenal cortex. And if the underproduction of this one hormone by the adrenal cortex alters carbohydrate metabolism, it means what? Alters carbohydrate means what? Change in carbohydrate metabolisms cause acute weakness, my dear. So if this acute weakness will be the take place, then the fatigue leading to a disease, that very disease is known as what? Addison disease, my dear. Okay, see, see, the adrenal gland secretes two hormones, my dear. One is called adrenaline, or you say the epinephrine, or you say the, and second one is what? Noradrenaline, my dear. What I'm saying? Noradrenaline, or you say nor epi epinephrine, my dear. Getting my point? So the adrenal medulla secretes how much hormone? Two. One is the adrenaline hormone, second one is noradrenaline hormone. Getting my point? These are commonly called what? Catecholamines. These are called what? Catecholamines. And this adrenaline and noradrenalines rapidly secrete in response to a stress. At the time of the stress of any kind during emergency also situation, they are also called emergency hormone because it's secreted at a time when, at a time of emergency. This hormone is also known as what? Fight or flight hormone. Yes or no? So these hormone increase what? Alternate pupillary dilation. Pupillary what? Dilation, piloerection, raising of hairs. Yes or no? That is goosebumps, sweating, etc. Because these hormones mainly secrete at the time of emergency, my dear. So that's why it is known as what? Emergency hormone. Or you say the hormone of fight or flight. Either you fight, either you flight. Yes or no? So at that time, at the time of danger, at the time of excitement, at the time of stress, so at the time of taking a very fast or quick response, quick reaction, then at that time this one hormone is secreted from the adrenal gland. The hormone that is what? Adrenaline and noradrenaline, my dear. Getting my point? Getting my point? Adrenaline, ADRENALINE, and noradrenaline, NORADRENALINE. Getting my point? Now see. So both the hormones increase the heartbeat, either the adrenaline or the noradrenaline. Both both increase what? Heartbeat, my dear. And this heartbeat, the strength of the heart contraction and the rate of water respiration goes increases. And next thing that is important to understand here, that is a catecholamines. What are you saying? Catecholamines also stimulate the breakdown of glycogen, my dear. What I'm saying? Catecholamines also stimulate the breakdown of what? Glycogen. And if the breakdown of glycogen resulting in what? An increased concentration of glucose in blood, my dear. See what I'm saying? Increase concentration of glucose. So once the breakdown of glycogen will take place, my dear, yes, then at that time resulting in increased concentration of glucose in the blood. So in addition, they also stimulate breakdown of lipids and proteins, my dear. Getting my point? Getting my point? So this one is the what? Yes, in adrenal medulla region. Now the time here to understand about the adrenal cortex. Adrenal what? Cortex, that outer region. The adrenal cortex can also be divided into how many layer? Three layer. Yes, three layer, my dear. That is zona reticularis. See, zona reticularis, inner layer. Zona fasciculata, fasciculata, middle layer, and zona glomerulosa, outer layer. Yes, this is a very interesting point, my dear, that you have to must keep in mind. You know what? Let's see again first. Wait a moment. See what I'm saying. I'm saying here that the adrenal cortex further be divided into how many layers? Three layers. That is what called zona reticularis. That is inner layer. Zona fasciculata. That is what? Middle layer. And zona glomerulosa. That is the outer layer. And the adrenal cortex secretes many hormones, my dear. What is saying? Many hormones, commonly called as what? Corticods. See, so if anybody can ask you that what type of hormone is secreted from adrenal cortex of adrenal gland, then what do you say? Yes, you can say the hormone that is what? Corticods. And the corticods which are involved in carbohydrate metabolism. See what I'm saying? What does corticod involve? This corticod involves in mainly in carbohydrate metabolism. It means that the breakdown of the carbohydrates are called glucocorticods. Getting? In our body, cortisol is the main glucocorticods. What are you saying? Glucocorticods. Corticods which regulate the balance of water and electrolytes. You know which one make the balance? in our body? Yes, balance in our body. Yes, that is what balance of water and electrolytes. So in our body, my dear, that is called mineralocorticoid. What is saying? Mineralocorticoids. Now, second thing, that is what aldosterone is the main mineral corticoid in our body. If anybody can ask you which one is the main mineralocorticoids in our body, then you say what? Aldosterone. What I'm saying? Aldosterone is the main mineralocorticoid. And now see what this main function of this glucocorticoid and mineralocorticoid. Okay, okay, are you interested to know this one thing? Very good. So if you are interested to know the very this thing, my dear, just remain in this video and see what I'm saying. Listen carefully that what the NCERT line to line that what's saying, and hope so this thing is clear to all of you. Yes or no? Let's see. Now see here, the glucocorticoids stimulate gluconeogenesis. What I'm saying? Gluconeogenesis. So see, the glucocorticoids and mineralocorticoids, this one is the two types of the hormone which is secreted from the adrenal cortex region, right? And now this glucocorticoids stimulate what? Gluconeogenesis, lip lipolysis, breakdown of lipids, and proteolysis, breakdown of protein, and inhibit, it means what? Reduce or stop cellular uptake and utilization of what? Amino acid. See what I'm saying? Glucocorticoid stimulate what? Gluconeogenesis, that is breakdown of the glucose, lipolysis, breakdown of what? Lipids, and what? Proteolysis, breakdown of protein. So stimulate this all things, but inhibits cellular uptake and utilization of amino acids. So here the cortisol also play, what I'm saying, cortisol also play involved in maintaining the cardiovascular system. You know cardiovascular system? The cardiovascular system is such a system which supplying oxygen to the heart, my dear. Getting my point? As well as was the kidney function also. So see, cortisol is also involved in maintaining the cardiovascular system as well as the kidney function. So glucocorticoids, particularly, what is saying? Particularly cortisol produces anti-inflammatory reaction. What I'm saying? Anti-inflammatory reaction and suppress the immune response. Whatever the immune response, that glucocorticoid, particularly in glucocorticoid, that is a cortisol, which is responsible to what? Anti-inflammatory reaction, and this anti-inflammatory reaction and suppress the what? Immune response, my dear. Getting? See, cortisol stimulate the RBC production also. What I'm saying? RBC production. Yes, the production of RBC. Now see, aldosterone. What I'm saying? Aldosterone acts mainly at the renal tubule. Yes, that is found in the nephron, and stimulate the reabsorption of sodium and what? Water, and excretion of potassium and phosphate ions, my dear. What I'm saying? Phosphate ion. So see this one thing. This one thing is very important to understand, my dear, that aldosterone, and that aldosterone is mainly at the renal tubule and stimulate the reabsorption of what? Sodium ions. You know the ultrafiltration and reabsorption occurred during at the time of what? If say the filtration in kidney, that is basically nephron, my dear. Yes, and water excretion of potassiums and phosphate ion, these all are regulated by the glucocorticoids, particularly in glucocorticoid, which one? Cortisol. Yes, thus aldosterone helps in maintenance of the what? Electrolytes. Aldosterone is mainly responsible to maintain electrolytes, that is maintaining the salt within the body fluid volume, osmotic pressure, and blood pressure, my dear. So, see this one thing, aldosterone is such a hormone which is responsible for maintaining the electrolytes of body fluids, volume, osmotic pressure, and blood pressure, my dear. So, the small amount of androgenic steroids are also secreted by the adrenal cortex, which play a role in the growth of axial hair, pubic hair and facial hair during puberty. So at the time of the puberty, my dear, this androgenic steroid secreted by the adrenal cortex, which is play important role to change in the secondary sexual characteristics in what? In male, my dear. That is growth of axial hair, pubic hair, facial hair at the time of what? Puberty. And this one is the secondary sexual characteristics seen in a male, my dear. Is that clear? Is that clear? Hope so this thing is clear, my dear. Okay. Now, now the point here to understand which one thing, that is about the pancreas, my dear. See what I'm saying about this pancreas. See, if I'm saying about this one thing, pancreas, and you know that the pancreas is which type of gland? Heterogland, my dear. So pancreas is a composite gland. We also say what? Composite gland. We also say the heterogland. Both are correct. But if I'm saying this one is the composite gland, which act as both exocrine and endocrine gland, my dear. Getting my point? See, so this one endocrine pancreas consists of what? Isolate of Langerhans. See what I'm saying? Endocrine pancreas consists of what? Group of cells. That very group of cells is known as what? Isolate of Langerhans. And you know there are how much amount of isolate of Langerhans is here? 1 to 2 million isolate of Langerhans, my dear. How much? 1 to 2 million isolate of Langerhans. In where? In a normal human pancreas representing only 1 to 2% of the pancreatic tissue. What I'm saying? 1 to 2% of what pancreatic tissue. And these two main type of cells in the islet of Langerhans are called alpha cells, beta cells. Getting? And the alpha cell secretes a hormone. The name of the hormone is called what? Glucagon. What I'm saying? Glucagon. While beta cells secretes a hormone known as what? Insulin. Yes, you know, insulin. Yes, insulin plays a very crucial role or important role, my dear, to maintain the amount of glucose in a blood, my dear. Again, I'm repeating here. The insulin is such a hormone which is basically responsible for maintaining the amount of glucose in the blood, my dear. Is that clear? Okay, okay. I will give you details. Wait a moment. Glucagon is what? Glucagon is a peptide hormone. Which type of hormone here? Yes, peptide hormone. And this peptide hormone plays an important role in maintaining the normal blood glucose level. Getting my point? Getting my point? I'm just going to repeat here. Glucagon is which type of hormone? Yes, peptide hormone. And this peptide hormone, the important role in what? In maintaining the normal blood glucose level. So if they increase the level of blood glucose level, then it is known as what, my dear? Diabetes mellitus. And if decrease the level of the blood glucose level in blood, then it is known as diabetes insipidus. Getting my point? Getting my point? So here the two way of the diabetes. One is the diabetes mellitus. Second one is diabetes insipidus, my dear. But these all are controlled by the hormone that is what? Insulin. Getting my point? So the glucagon act mainly on the liver cell. What is saying? Liver cell. So if I'm saying here the liver cell, that is what? Hepatocytes. Hepato means what? Liver. Cytes means what? Cell. So mainly glucagon act where? Glucagon act mainly on the liver cells and stimulate which one thing? That is glycogenolysis. What are you saying? Glycogenolysis. And this stimulate glycogenolysis resulting in increased blood sugar, my dear. So if the amount of blood sugar level goes increases, then it is known as what? Hyperglycemia. What I'm saying? Hyperglycemia. In addition, this hormone stimulate the process of gluconeogenesis. What is saying? Gluconeogenesis, and which also contribute to what? Hyperglycemia. See, here the two things that is very important to understand. Not only listen, my dear, just first you listen carefully that what I'm saying and try to understand that what I'm saying. And if you understand these all very things now, then you have to write in your copy also, my dear. Then all things to be clear, otherwise not, my dear. So only listening is not important, but after listening, just try to understand the things that what I'm saying, and then after you have to be writing your copy also. At how much times, at least 5 times, my dear. So if you write at least 5 times that whatever I'm telling to you, and that time you observe that yes, each and everything is totally cleared, and not clear for a while, it clear for whole life, my dear. So this one is depend on you, that what you have to be take, either for a short period of time, either you take for a longer period of time. This is totally depend on you, my dear. Yes, I'm telling to you. Getting? See, the things that what I'm saying here, the things that is very important to understand here, that the glucagon, what I'm saying, glucagon acts mainly where on the liver cells, number one, and stimulates which one thing, that is stimulate glycogenolysis. And this glycogenolysis resulting in what? Increase in blood sugar, known as what? Hyperglycemia, number one. Second thing, this hormone also stimulate which one? Sir, gluconeogenesis. What I'm saying, gluconeogenesis, which also contribute to what? Hyperglycemia. So both contribute to what? Hyperglycemia. That is, this increase the amount of glucose level in the blood, my dear. Second thing, after doing this one thing, glucagon also reduce the cellular glucose. What I'm saying, cellular glucose, which is responsible uptake and utilization. What I'm saying, uptake and utilization. So thus glucagon is what? Hyperglycemic hormone. Clear? So this one is known as what? Hyperglycemic hormone. Why I'm saying the hyperglycemic hormone? Because this glucagon reduce the cellular glucose uptake. Reduce the what? Cellular glucose uptake and in utilization. So that's why the glucagon is what? Hyperglycemic hormone, my dear. Getting my point? Getting my point? Now, next thing that is important to understand, insulin. Insulin is which type of hormone? It's a peptide hormone, which also play a major role in regulation of glucose homeostasis. Yes, glucose homeostasis, my dear, to maintaining the amount of glucose. So insulin acts mainly where at the hepatocytes, because you know that the formation of the glycogen formation where in the livers. So insulin act mainly where on the hepatocytes and adipocytes, I mean the sites of adipose tissue where the fat is stored. Yes, adipocytes, cells of adipose tissue, and enhance cellular glucose uptake. Enhance what? Cellular glucose uptake and utilization. And in here, see here, mainly the glucagon, that is also a peptide hormone, important role play in maintaining the normal blood glucose level. They secrete a glucagon, mainly act on the liver and stimulate glycosenolysis, resulting in increased blood sugar, hyperglycemia. And the also um, hormone also stimulate the process of what? Glucogenesis. Yes, which contribute to what? Hyperglycemia. So this result of hyperglycemia reduce the cellular uptake. Reduce the what? Cellular uptake and utilization. So, so the hormone insulin, that is also a peptide hormone, my dear, which is major role to what? What? To uptake. See what I'm saying? Uptake and utilization of what? Glucose. Because the cell doesn't uptake that very glucose. The adipose tissue cannot, what I'm saying, cannot utilize that very glucose, whatever breakdown of the carbohydrate into the glucose by the glucocorticoids hormone. Getting my point? As a result, there is a rapid movement of glucose from blood to where? From blood to where? Blood to hepatocytes. And where? Adipocytes. The sites where the adipose tissue. The sites where the liver. Getting my point? So uptake and utilization, which one hormone goes make them to increase? Insulin hormone. Getting my point? Resulting in what? Decrease blood glucose level. And if the amount of blood level goes decreases, then known as what? Hypoglycemia. What I'm saying? Hypoglycemia. So insulin also stimulate conversion of glucose to glycogen. What a fantastic hormone. See here. See here. Insulin also stimulate conversion of this glucose to which one? Glycogen. Known as what? Glycogenesis. Where? Where? In the target cell, my dear. So the glucose homeostasis in blood is thus maintained jointly by the two, insulin and glucagon. Getting my point? Insulin and what? Glucagon. Glucagon increase the level of amount of what glucose in the body, while insulin maintain this one glucose within the body, my dear. Getting my point? But the case is here, sir, how the diabetes mellitus and how the diabetes insipidus will take place. See, if the amount of insulin hormone goes in decreases, then the diabetes in mellitus will be occurred. Listen carefully what I'm saying. When the amount of insulin hormone goes increases, then at that time, what I'm saying, the amount of glucose in the blood goes increases. Then we say what? Diabetes in mellitus. Now, when I'm saying that the insulin hormone goes increases, getting my point? And at that time, the amount of glucose level goes decreases. That is known as diabetes insipidus, my dear. Getting my point or not? Is it necessary to repeat again? Okay, I'm going to repeat again. Okay, listen carefully. I'm saying that when the amount of insulin goes decreases, then the amount of glucose level goes increases in the blood, known as what? Diabetes in mellitus, my dear. Number one. Number two, when the insulin hormone goes increases, then the amount of glucose in the blood goes decreases. Getting my point? Yes, that is known as what, my dear? Diabetes insipidus. Getting? Okay. Now, my dear, so prolonged hyperglycemia. Listen carefully what I'm saying. Prolonged hyperglycemia. What? Prolonged hyperglycemia, my dear, leads to complex disorder. And this disorder is called what? Diabetes in mellitus. Yes, prolonged hyperglycemia. In vice versa, you can also say prolonged hypoglycemia, complex disorder called diabetes insipidus, my dear. But here what I'm saying, prolonged hyperglycemia, not hypo. What I'm saying, hyperglycemia leads to a complex disorder, my dear, called diabetes mellitus, my dear, which is associated with loss of glucose. What I'm saying, associated with what? Loss of glucose through where? Urine and formation of harmful compounds. Yes, whatever the harmful compounds within the body, it cannot be skipped out from the body, and you know that. Known as what? Ketone bodies, that are harmful compounds. And diabetic patients are successfully treated with insulin therapy. And at that time, if the person is facing such type of problems, then patients are successfully treated with which one therapy, my dear? Correct. That is known as what? Insulin therapy. Is that clear? Is that clear, my dear? If this one thing is clear, then that a fantastic, my dear. And this one is very, very important points, my dear, that whatever I'm telling right now. Okay. So if you listen this one thing is very carefully, then it is very, very fantastic to all of you, my dear. Okay. Now time to move another composite gland, that is also known as heterogland. Yes, that is what testis, my dear. Clear? Testis and ovaries also, not only the testis. Let's see what the testis. See, in human reproduction, you also know that this one is the primary reproductive organs in male, my dear. Okay, so testis is what singular, testes is what plural. You know, is this thing right? This thing to be right here. See what I'm saying? Testes, T-E-S-T-E-S. This one is plural. This one is what? Plural. But when I'm saying what? Testis, that is what? Singular, my dear. Yes. And you all know that testes, that is in what pair, my dear. So that's why I'm saying the testis is a primary reproductive organ which is responsible for the formation of a sperm, my dear. Okay, now see, if I'm saying here what, a pair of testes that is present in the scrotal sac. You know the meaning of a scrotal sac, my dear? Yes, very good. If you know, then it's very simple to understand. The scrotal sac, that is where it is located. It is located outside the abdominal cavity in a male individual. So testis perform what dual function. Listen carefully. What I'm saying, testis perform what dual functions as a primary sex organ. What I'm saying, as a primary sex organ in which one? That is in male, my dear. As well as what endocrine glands also. So how? Let's see. Testis is composed of a seminiferous tubules, yes, a stromal or intestinal tissue, yes, and this seminiferous tubules, that is mainly the site of the formation of a sperm, my dear. Yes, there are so many seminiferous tubules which is contained inside the testicular lobules. What a fantastic thing, this one. Let's see. What is saying? There are seminiferous tubules. You know the how many seminiferous tubules in each testicular lobules? No, that is 1 to 3, my dear. 1 to 3 seminiferous tubule. That is the highly coiled tubule which is present where in a testicular lobules, my dear. And that seminiferous tubule is responsible for what, you know? Seminiferous tubule is mainly responsible for the formation of a sperm, my dear. Getting my point? Yes. So see this one thing, that what I'm saying to here. Testis is composed of what? Seminiferous tubule and stromal, or is the intestinal tissues, my dear. Getting? So see, the Leydig cells or interstitial cells, you say, which are present in the intertubular space, the space between the where, the space between the intertubule, that is known as what? Intertubular space, produces a group of hormones, and you know that very group of hormone known as what? Androgen. What I'm saying? Androgen, mainly called what? Testosterone hormone. And this testosterone hormone is responsible for this formation of a sperm, my dear. That is the male gametes. Yes or no? Yes. Androgen regulates the development of what? Maturation also, and function of what? Male accessory sex organ. You know, androgen responsible for development, maturations, and function of the male accessory sex organ, like which one thing? That is epididymis. You know the epididymis? Yes, that is a capsule-like structure which is found where it is found at the top of the kidney. Vasa deferens. Yes or no? That is a duct which carry the sperm. Seminal vesicles, that is the gland which is in pair. Prostate gland, that is single, which is found around the urethra. And last, that is what? Urethra, my dear. Clear? Clear? So the mainly the androgen, see what the main function here, my dear. Androgen, mainly you say the testosterone, regulate the development, maturation, and function of the male accessory sex organ. And which the male accessory sex organ? That is epididymis, vasa deferens, seminal vesicles, that is gland, my dear. Seminal vesicles creates seminal fluid. Yes, and human reproduction, I was told you in details, my dear. Prostate gland, urethra, these all are the male accessory sex organ. Now the time here to know here that these hormones, which one hormone? Androgen testosterone hormone, stimulate muscular growth. If I'm saying that which one hormone is responsible for the muscular growth, then what you say? Yes, good. You say androgen hormone. Well, you say this, and testosterone, growth of facial, axillary hair. Yes, the person have what? Beard. Yes or no? Which one hormone is responsible? Yes, androgen testosterone hormone. Aggressiveness, the person becomes so aggressive. So if the you see that the in very young age, the mostly the persons are what? Aggressive in nature. So this aggressiveness occurred in young generations. You know which one hormone is be there? That is very so active. Yes, that is a testosterone hormone, my dear. Low pitch. See the sound. that is vocal cord. There is having the pitch of sound, that is what, low pitch of voice. So these all are the secondary sexual characteristics which is seen in development at the time of puberty in male, my dear. Is that clear? That thing what I'm saying here. So see, androgen play a major role. What I'm saying? Major role, that is a stimulatory role. What I'm saying? Stimulatory role. Stimulatory role, it means that it stimulates the organs so that in that time they become very aggressiveness. Yes or no? So in this very process of spermatogenesis, because you know that androgen play a major role, estimated role in the formation of what is spermatogenesis. That is the formation of a spermatiad. From which one? Formation of a spermatozoa, you also say. Androgen act on the central neural system. Central neural system, that is what, brain, my dear, and influence the male sexual behavior, libido, and these hormones produce anabolic, that is called synthetic effect on protein and carbohydrate metabolisms, my dear. So whatever the aggressiveness, excitement, and doing very aggressiveness lead the things to be performed by young generations. You know, this one is the hormone which is responsible at that time, my dear. And no problem, this one is the thing that is naturally it will be occurs. This one time, this one the phase, at this one phases, at this one the time is the testosterone hormone which is very active in this one time for developing the secondary sexual characteristics, my dear. Okay, so hope that is thing is very clear to all of you. Now I'm going to start another composite gland, that is also you say the hetero gland, that is what, ovary, my dear. Okay, now see, ovary. Ovary is what? Female reproductive primary parts, my dear. What I'm saying? Ovary is what? Ovary is what? Female primary reproductive organ, my dear. See, here, if I'm saying the females have a pair of ovaries, yes, definitely pair of ovaries, but where it is located? It is located in the abdomen, inside the abdominal cavity. See what I'm saying? If I'm saying here that the testis that is like outside the abdominal cavity and vice versa in the ovaries here, my dear, that is ovaries located here inside the abdominal cavity. Getting my point? So see, my dear, ovary is the primary female sex organ. In a male, the primary organ, that is what, testis, while in female, ovary is the primary female sex organ, which produces what? One ovum. This produces what I'm saying? One ovum, when during each menstrual cycle. And you all know that only one of the ovary matured in a single month. I'm repeating again here what I'm saying here that only one of the ovary matured at a single month, not the two, both the ovary matured in a month, my dear. Suppose in this month left hand side the ovary matured, then in next month the right hand side of the ovary matured, my dear. Getting my point? So in addition, ovaries also produces what? Two groups of steroid hormone. Steroid hormone means what, we know? That is a sex hormone. And that very two steroid hormone is known as what? Estrogen. And another one is what? Progesterone hormone. Again, I'm repeating. Which one hormone, my dear? The two hormone, that is a steroid hormone, that is a sex hormone, that is the estrogen and progesterone hormone. Getting my point? But in a male, testis produces mainly what? Androgen. You say the mainly testosterone hormone. So here, the in addition, ovary produces the what? Two groups of steroid hormone. The name of the hormone is what? Estrogen and progesterone hormone. Getting my point? Okay. So if you're getting this one thing, now see what I'm saying to you. Ovary is composed of what? Mainly where? Ovarian follicles. What I'm saying? Where the ovary composed? Ovary composed mainly in ovarian follicles and a stromal tissue also. Yes, and stromal tissue also. So see, so this one, the estrogen, is mainly synthesized and secreted mainly by the growing ovarian follicles. So at the age of the puberty, this ovarian cycle, during the ovarian cycles, the ovarian follicles become mature and synthesis to separate what are ovarian follicles. At the time of the growing of ovarian follicles, they mature the ova, and whenever the ova become matured, then at the time of 14th day of ovulation, yes, That is a 14, because in human reproduction you have studied there that the reproductive cycle, yes or no, menstrual phases, proliferatory phases, yes or no, then after the ovulatory phases, then after the what secretory phases, yes or no. So at the time of 14th day of the ovulation, then at that time, what, ruptured follicle, and this ruptured follicle is what, converted to a structure called corpus luteum, and this corpus luteum act as an endocrine gland, yes my dear, and which secretes a mainly which type of hormone, progesterone hormone, definitely. So now see, estrogen produces what, wide ranging action, what are you saying, wide ranging action, you know, such as stimulation of growth, activities of female secondary organs, yes, development of growing what, development of growing ovarian follicles, appearance of female secondary sexual characteristics. You know the what the appearance of the female secondary sexual characteristics, no, let's see, high pitch of voice, mammary gland development. Estrogen also regulate the what, female sexual behaviors. So which one hormone is responsible for regulates the female sexual behavior, you know, mainly the hormone which is what, estrogen hormone, my dear. Getting my point? So see, progesterone support pregnancy. If the amount of progesterone level goes increases, yes, then it makes the uterus, or is the endometrium wall, to stay there what, developed fetus, my dear. Now see, progesterone is also play an important role on where, on the mammary gland, and also stimulate the formation of which one, alveoli, because you know that in a mammary gland there is a alveolar duct, alveolar sac, and inside the sac like a structure which is mainly responsible for storing milk as well as the milk secretion also, my dear. Is that clear? So these two composite glands is clear. One is the male, that is in testis, in female, that is in for ovaries, my dear. Now, now next point that we have to be clear, that what, that here hormones of heart, kidney, and gastrointestinal tract. Let's see. Mainly we know what, the hormones which are secreted from uh, that is you say the first one, that is which one, that is a hypothalamus gland, then after the pituitary gland, then after the pineal gland, thymus gland, thyroid gland, and then after composite gland, that composite gland, that is what, testes and ovaries. And then after what, the what thing is very very necessary to understand. Third, another hormone also be secreted, and that hormone secreted from where, heart, yes, and kidney, and where, gastrointestinal tract, my dear. You know the meaning of gastrointestinal tract? Gastrointestinal tract, it means that the tract where the digestions occurred, my dear. Again, I'm repeating here, the tract which is what, digestions occurred, my dear. So now here the point to understand here, that now you know that about the endocrine glands and their hormones maintained earlier. What I'm saying? Maintained earlier. So you know that about the endocrine glands and their hormones, what I'm saying, maintained earlier. And these hormones are also secreted by some tissues. Yes, what I'm saying, secreted by some tissues which are not endocrine gland. Just take an example. For example, if I'm saying that the atrial wall, the wall of heart, atrial wall of our heart secretes a very important peptide hormone. You know, secretes a what? Very important peptide hormone. Which one? Called arterial natriuretic factor, my dear. What the peptide hormone called? That peptide hormone called atrial natriuretic factor, ANF. ANF, I'm saying. And this NF which decrease blood pressure, my dear. Getting my point? Again, I'm repeating here. Suppose if I'm saying here that the hormone which is secreted from which one? Tissues. And which one tissue? That is tissue that is not endocrine glands. Okay, give one example. Atrial wall. Atrial wall of where? Of the heart secretes what? Very important peptide hormone, That very peptide hormone known as what? Atrial natriuretic factor, my dear. And what the function of this ANF is decrease blood pressure. And after that, when blood pressure is increased, see what I'm saying? Once the blood pressure goes increased, so ANF is secreted, which cause dilation of blood vessels. Yes or no? So once the blood pressure decreases, when the blood pressure increases, then ANF is secreted, which cause dilation of blood vessels. And once the dilation of blood vessels will take place, my dear, this reduce the blood pressure. This reduce the what, my dear? Blood pressure. Getting my point? Getting my point? So now the next thing that is important to understand here, that what the juxtaglobular cells. What I'm saying? Which one cell? Juxtaglobular cells of kidney. Yes, produce also peptide hormone, and this peptide hormone is known as what? Erythropoietin. What I'm saying? Erythropoietin, and this erythropoietin, my dear, stimulate erythropoiesis. What is saying? Erythropoiesis. That is what formation of RBC. Endocrine cells, my dear, present a different part of gastrointestinal tract. What is saying? Gastrointestinal tract, and secrete four major peptide hormone. What is saying? Secrete how many major peptides hormone? Four major peptides hormone, my dear. And see, namely the four major peptide hormone, that is gastrin, secretin, and chlorocytokinin. Yes, see, choleocytokinin CCK, and gastric inhibitory peptide GIP. Again, I'm repeating here, my dear. Endocrine cell, the cell which is basically present in the endocrine glands, different parts of the gastrointestinal tracts, creates a peptide hormone. The name of the peptide hormone, which one? Which one? Listen carefully. That is gastrin. Second one is secretin. Third one is what? Choleocytokinin and gastric inhibitory peptide. Okay, let's see what the main role of these all very hormones, my dear. So see, gastrin act on the gastric glands. Listen carefully, listen carefully. All this hormone performs a definite function. Yes, what I'm saying, listen carefully. Gastrin acts on the gastric glands and stimulate the secretion of what? Hydrochloric acid. And you all know that the hydrochloric acid is formed from inner wall of the stomach. Yes or no? Yes, and pepsinogen. Okay. Next thing, that is a secretion act on the exocrine pancreas, my dear, and stimulate which one? Secretion of water and bicarbonate ions. Listen carefully. What I'm saying, bicarbonate ion. CCK, that is a what? Choleocytokinin, acts on both enzymes and bile juice respectively. So GIP, that is gastric inhibitory peptide, inhibits gastric secretion and motility. And these several other non-endocrine tissue secretes hormone, that is known as what? Growth factor. Known as what? Growth factor. And these factors which are very, very essential for the normal growth of tissues and their repairing and regeneration, right? Getting my point? So GIP is mainly inhibits the gastric secretion, and which one? Motility, as well as the non-endocrine tissue secretes hormone, basically known as what? Growth factors. And these growth factors is responsible for the normal growth of tissues and as well as a repairing and regeneration, my dear. Clear? So hope so this thing is clear to all of you. Very good. And now the second last thing that is important to understand here, that mechanism of hormone action. You see, if I'm saying about the mechanism of hormone action, then you know what? You know that the hormone produces their effect on the target tissue, because the definition is clear. The firstly, I was told you about the term hormone. The hormone is the chemical messengers which act on a target organ. So if anybody can ask you about the mechanism of this very hormone action, then what you say? You say there the hormone produces their effect on target tissue. by binding to a specific protein. Again, I'm repeating, if the hormone produces their effect on target tissues by binding to a specific protein, then it is known as called what? Hormone receptors. What I'm saying? Hormone receptors. And this hormone receptor located where? In a target tissues only, my dear. Getting my point? So hormone produces their effect where? On the target tissue. By how? By binding to a specific protein. And this binding to a specific protein called what? Hormone receptors. Getting? So see, this hormone receptors, my dear, present where? On the cell membrane. That is also known as plasma membrane. That is also known as selective permeable membrane of the target cells and are called membrane bound receptors. That the area is known as what? Membrane bound receptors. And the receptors, whatever the present inside the target cells. Listen carefully. Whatever the receptor, you know the meaning of receptors and effectors? No, don't know. Listen carefully. Receptors is such a cells which receive the stimulus, my dear. And effector is a such a cells which give response to that very stimuli. Stimuli, I'm saying. Stimuli means that the any change in the environment in which living organisms give respond. Getting my point? So see, again I'm repeating. I'm repeating here that the hormone receptor present on the cell membrane of the target cells are called membrane bound receptors, and the receptors present inside the target cells are called what? Intracellular receptor. What is saying? Intracellular receptor. So here the receptors, let's see, hormone receptors present here on the cell membrane of the target cells called membrane bound receptor, and the receptor present inside the target cell known as intracellular receptor. So mostly the nuclear receptor present in the nucleus. There are three types of receptor. Membrane bound receptor basically found on the cell membrane of the target cell. Second one is intracellular receptor mainly present on the inside the target cell. And third one is the what? Nuclear receptor mainly present in the nucleus. So these all are the binding of hormones in a receptor leads to the formation of a hormone receptor complex. What I'm saying? Hormone receptor complex. And each receptor is a specific to one hormone only, and hence receptors are what? As specific, my dear. What I'm saying? Hormones are what? As specific. And this hormone receptors complex formation leads to the certain biochemical changes where in the target tissue. Getting my point? Target tissue. And target tissue's metabolism, hence what? Physiological functions are regulated by the hormones. Let's see. On the basis of their chemical natures, the hormone can be divided into how many groups? Into four groups, my dear. Number one is peptide, polypeptide, protein hormone. See, if anybody can ask you, give some example of peptide hormone, polypeptide hormone, protein hormone, then what you say? Insulin, glucagon, pituitary hormone, hypothalamus hormone. This one is important to learn. Yes. Second one is steroid hormone. If anybody can ask you, tell me some example of steroid hormone. Then what you say? Cortisol, testosterone hormone, estradiol, and progesterone. And next thing, that is what? Iodothyronines hormone. Then what you say? Thyroid hormones. If anybody can ask you amino acid derivatives hormones, tell me examples. Then you say what? Epinephrine. Then you say what? Epinephrine, my dear. Hope so thing is clear. Hope so thing is clear. So this hormone which interact with the membrane bonded receptor normally do not enter the target cell but generate the second messengers. That second messengers, that is a cyclic which turns regulate the cellular metabolisms, my dear. And this one is a hormone which interact with the intracellular receptor cells, mostly regulate the gene expression. What I'm saying? The gene expression or chromosome functions by the interaction of the hormone receptor, or you say the hormone receptor complex. Getting my point? So this cumulative biochemical action result in the physiological as well as the developmental effect, my dear. So this one is the thing. When I go in details video, then I will tell you about these all things. Okay. So hope so this chapter is completed, my dear. But how this all uh, hormone receptor complex act on their body, whenever I go in details, then I will tell you about these all things. So dear, this one chapter is completed from my sides. So thank you for watching. Thank you for this test prep card. Give me such a fantastic platform that I just elaborate my knowledge to all of you. So thank you to all of you. Have a nice day to all of you. Thank you. Bye bye. Take care.